Here's stop number 2 of our paranormal adventures, Archive of the Afterlife, Cameron, West Virginia.
And I think the embalming tables have given us a couple K2 spikes, right?
Yes, the one in the middle of the floor.
Yeah, this one.
Embalming kit.
One from mine.
Yeah.
Mike left my K2 in the car, but oh well.
I mean, if you want to go back out and get it, you can.
Oh no, that's alright.
And then, yeah, this one came from Im's Funeral Home in New Martinsville. And, it's not functioning anymore, right, Im's?
No, it's offices.
Okay. Yeah, they closed down. They were selling a lot of their stuff for the embalming table, and we have some caskets in our funeral parlor now. This one was one of those recent ones required of replacing Sistersville. We actually went into the antique shop, and we were just looking at some stuff, and they're like, yeah, we tell them, like, you know, what round song what kind of museum we had, and they're like, there's a funeral home like right up the road, and we just helped them move an old embalming table, and I think they wanted to get rid of it. So we went there, we talked to the guy. And we're like, okay, maybe the last one I do is price and we'll sorry about getting it. So he called his business partner. I got a couple hits on the REM pod from it.
Okay, here's the actual cap from the old Sparky from West Virginia State.
And then the pictures up here, these are the 9 inmates that were executed by the cap.
Yeah.
At our old location, one Halloween night, we were doing a seancing, well, not EVP because we weren't running recorders, but just kind of like a minor investigation session, seeing if we could get anything. We felt like we made communication with all 9 inmates. We felt them kind of like come forward because it was so weird. It was like fine and everything felt good there, and all of a sudden it just felt like everything was kind of like rushed in and closed, and you had this feeling of like everyone was surrounding you.
Wow.
So that was a fun night. We also have in this one serial killer Eileen Warnos. That was her Bible, and she was on death row. We have some dirt from John Wayne Gacy's gravesite, and a little piece of wood from Ed Geim's farm, and then a postcard signed by Charles Manson there in the back.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, someone donated the Charles Manson one. It wasn't actually personally to us, but
yeah.
Cool friend. Did Jason talk to you guys about Danny Lehman any?
I think so.
Okay. When you went on your tour, did you see like a lot of the artwork painted?
Yeah.
On the walls? Okay.
Yeah.
He's the one that painted all that, and we actually he had a pen pal outside of the prison, and she was a nurse local in the area because he had some kind of, I want to say it was like some kind of varicose veins or liver or something he had to go like every month and get treatment for. Mm-hmm. So the nurse that took care of him, he came kind of close with, and they would write back and forth to each other, and he, I don't knock things over, he drew this for her. And as from what we know, that's the only piece of his artwork that's actually not in the prison.
Oh, wow.
She came to us about 2 or 3 years ago, and said she wanted to put it on loan, so we got that. And yeah, he drew all this, like, he drew the piano, like, all this, all.
It's interesting.
And then we got a lot of the military stuff. Did you guys watch the episode where they were on USS Salem?
Yeah.
Yeah. This came from USS Salem. They were kind enough to donate the helmet to the museum. And then most of these helmets came out of an area in Latvia known as the Krillin Pocket. It's where a lot of the fighting and stuff took place in World War II, so it's like they'll find mass burials out there, they'll find just a bunch of random stuff out in the fields, and there's this one group. We have a friend of ours whose name's Maurice, and I cannot pronounce his last name, so I'm not going to butcher it, but he has a group named Legenda, and what they'll do is if they find these mass burials, they'll dig everybody up, reinter them properly in proper cemeteries, and then things that weren't personal effects they'll kind of put on an auction site to raise money to keep doing this and give all the soldiers proper burials. It was used in the service part, but not for burial. the little one in between the two memorial pictures, our little round one up there, that is a postmortem. Those ones are kind of more rare to find. We like collecting a lot of religious artifacts too. Steve and I are both Christian. We feel we feel it's nice to kind of keep it for spiritual protection, but I also think they're just really pretty too. The coffin here, it is real, but it was used as a display model from the same funeral home where we got the one embalming table, the funeral home that shut down. So they let us move off this too, off of them. The wicker cooling casket came out of Gettysburg.
Those are cool. I like those.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can like something like that, I guess.
Hey, I mean, we all...
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I like it.
Yeah.
And the thing under it, we had some friends of ours get a hold of us, and it's empty, like, underneath of it and on the inside, but this box down here, they transferred a lady's body in a casket back up from Charleston, West Virginia in it.
Oh, wow.
So they did not have a lot of space where they lived, so they're like, we want to put this here on loan. So that's how we acquired that. And when they brought it in, it definitely had a weird, like I stepped into it because we actually had it propped up and you could like walk into it a little bit, and it felt cold. It was definitely interesting.
It's like an old coffin in the corner.
Steve had someone make that. He was originally going to do it for like if people wanted to stand in it and like pose for pictures.
Yeah, true.
The guy didn't make it big enough.
Yeah.
So, kind of just a prop.
Just a prop. Okay, that works.
So, unfortunately, it's not real. But, we eventually want to fill this whole wall with like crucifixes and stuff.
The doll room.
A lot of these were donated or sent in to us, and then some of them we found through. We'll try to go out. Like, we don't get to as much anymore, but we used to go out to different trucks and kind of like scout for things and just see if we could pick up any energy. So a few more from that, but mostly people donated a lot of them.
Yeah.
Probably the creepiest one is Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah. We were doing a public paranormal night at our old location, and the way we were sitting at Steve's old desk, I looked down for a second and looked back up at Charlie, and his head had kind of moved in a different direction, very slightly, like to the left. And no one was around him, no one had touched him or anything, and it was one of those things where it was like down and look back up. So it wasn't like anyone had time to mess with him or anything.
This one is crazy looking.
That one came out of Munich, Germany. I believe I said it was like 1915, 1918. Also, they're pretty sure it survived World War I, but its legs are made of straw, so that's why I kind of have it laying down and transport it. But it's got a string on the back of its head that controls the jaw, so it kind of makes it look like it's talking. So I've always felt like it was on there.
Okay.
All right. A friend of ours, Kim Woods, she went down to Louisiana and New Orleans and visited the Marie Laveau house. And she kind of clicked with like the family members and stuff because she's also psychic, and they're like, you know what, we feel like you're really genuine, so we want to give you something. And so the family actually gave her a piece of her hair with permission. Wow. And then she started having some health issues, and she felt like it should have been donated here. So that's how we obtained that. This here is just general haunted relics in this room. A lot of people just have either some odd experiences or, again, you know, I'll be out or Steve will be out or we'll be out somewhere together and we'll just be like, huh, that looks interesting and has a really unique vibe. The one statue with the black and red dress, that came out of a local a local, it's kind of like an antique and a pawn shop back in Moundsville. But Steve was really drawn to it and wanted to get it. And it was really interesting because he went in the day before, didn't get it, went back, picked it up, and they kind of was like, oh, so you decided to get it? And he's like, I didn't. He's like, how did you know? Because I wasn't really thinking about it. She's like, I watched you like pick it up and put it down several times the other day, and he doesn't even remember doing that. So it's kind of one of those weird things where he's connected with it and didn't realize he's connecting. But she's like, it's a good thing you came back and got it, because she's like, not 10 minutes ago, another guy was in here and almost bought it.
Oh gosh.
So we've had it for a really long time, probably about 4 or 5 years we've had that statue. And a lady came in one day and she was talking to me and she's like, that reminds me of Pavagera, which is a deity in different, the Red Cross nurse's gown. This belonged to former Governor of West Virginia, Arch Moore. It was his mother's gown when she was Red Cross nurse in World War II. These two came out of Massillon State Hospital. This one is a light patient's restraint. You can kind of see the ties back here, but they still sort of had free movement. And then this was a patient's gown. In this cabinet here, we have some other random medical artifacts, but a lot of them are like really tiny, so we wanted to make sure no one, you know, hit them or anything. So we've got these protected. There is a nurse's gown in here that's folded up. We're eventually going to get like a bigger shadow box for it, but it does have blood on it. And a few medical textbooks. We have 2 antique doctor's chairs. This one came out of the Belmont County Poor Farm. I can't remember where the other one came from. A few wheelchairs. The bed frame came from Eloise Psychiatric Hospital up in Michigan. And then we have 2 items from Battle Creek Sanitarium. We have a blanket and the stool here. And then the other curio cabinet has some medical artifacts as well. The top shelf has items from Norway that a lady sent to us. There's some keys from an asylum, a pair of like a headphone headset that was used for like noise therapy, and then they're not scissors, but it's some kind of like medical clamp.
Yeah.
Hemostats.
And then on the top of the curio, the 2 grates in the jar, those came out of the morgue from St. Joseph's Hospital, which Paranormal Quest went and filmed there. So if you look up, it's a little bit of an older episode, but I think it's called like Spirits of St. Joseph Hospital or Old St. Joseph Hospital. Definitely watch that one because they did end up tearing it down. So the guys got to go in there. They were like one of the last teams to go in there before they actually demolished the building.
Huh?
We saw that
I think
one.
so.
It was
yeah.
a huge hospital.
Yeah.
And they barely covered like. I know they walked through the whole thing, but they didn't get to film every single thing because it was just too much to like fit in 1 hour episode. But yeah, the place was huge, and Steve got permission to take the train. We do tell people like this is kind of a whole enter at your own risk thing, but you know, Steve being ordained, he has blessed everything, so no one's really had any actual attachments, but sometimes they'll just kind of feel. Like we had one group come in earlier and one guy actually got kind of woozy looking at some of the items, so. I'm actually going to go ahead and use your phone. I'm going to turn that light on. A few of these items came out of different episodes. Did you guys watch when they went to the River Brewery?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's the brick.
That's the brick.
From that. That is the brick from Savannah.
Yeah, that was an interesting show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting. That was
I really do like all their episodes.
Yeah.
They do a very good job at them.
They've been doing this for 10 years. They've only gotten better the longer they've done this with editing in their episodes. I've kind of known them for about probably 7 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And some of their early episodes I was watching them when they were all so young, and I think Brian was probably like 16, 17 in some of these episodes. He was real young, and it's just, for me knowing them as long as I have, it's just kind of funny watching that sometimes and watching them, you know. I'm just like, oh, look at you guys, you were so young.
Now, this is the mirror from
Yep, that's
the
the mirror.
cabin?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh, wow, what's the chair?
So Steve and I found that over in Bel Air, actually. It was on Facebook Marketplace. Someone was selling it. We only wanted like $6 for it. And we're like,
Oh my gosh.
old antique chair? Yes. So we picked it up, and when we got it in the car, it just kind of felt weird. So we were driving back to Moundsville, and Steve's like, I want to have this for like the spirits and the entities. And he's like, if anyone wants to do seances or communicate during investigations, we're going to leave this chair open for the spirits that want to come sit in it.
Okay.
So that's kind of what that chair's become.
Wonder what it originally, it's got to be
I'm honestly not
made
sure.
for something.
Yeah, because when we picked it up, the house we picked it up from is this gorgeous old Victorian house, but it's like, we stepped on the porch and the house just felt like this ominous, dark energy. It was very odd.
I mean, it's not just a normal chair.
No.